Now, what was the condition of the Kshatriyas? Okay, so Kshatriyas were the ruling or the warrior class or the military class who used to protect the empire, okay, who used to protect the kingdom, okay. And the Kshatriyas, if they proved a good aptitude, that is the guna, if they proved a good conduct, that is the karma, and if they proved that their nature or the swabha was also good, ethical, then only this Kshatriyas was considered as a good warrior. He was considered as a good warrior, okay. Now, the main duty of the Kshatriya people was to protect and administer the kingdom. Now, during this administration, he was also heading and taking major of the decisions of his military team. Okay. So, yes, there was many specialization that had occurred during the later Vedic period. In early Vedic period, we don't have any evidences of the standing army. Fine. Now, the third tier, that is Vaishyas. Now, the Vaishyas are the common people, the traders, the merchants, okay. So, these were the common people. They were also involved in the agriculture and the trade. Now, these Vaishyas were the major taxpayers, and based on this tax, the Kshatriyas and the Brahmins enjoyed their livelihood, okay. So, these were the taxpayer, the most important section of the society who paid tax on based on which the revenue was being generated, and this revenue was utilized in the whole of the kingdom, okay. So Vaishyas were described as tribute paying individuals. They were considered as the tribute paying individuals meant to be beaten and oppressed at the will of Kshatriyas or the Brahmanas, okay. Now, the Shudras, as per the Atriya Brahmana text, okay, as per the Atriya Brahmana text, the Shudras were called as the servant of any other person who can be beaten according to the will of his boss, okay. The Shudras could attend the funerals majorly. So the Shudra person was not allowed to attend the happy ceremonies, the marriage ceremony, the temple meetings and every sort of things. But the Shudras were given the duty, okay, to handle the funeral occasions. Now you can see what was the condition of the lower strata of the society. Okay, they were just given the responsibility during the unhappy periods. They were not allowed to look at the happy life. Okay, they were not allowed to eat the more good premium food. Okay, so this was the condition during the later Vedic period. The condition in fact deteriorated much during the Gupta period and during the Mauryan period, okay. But let's first talk about the later Vedic period, okay. Now, after this, how was the family structure? So, in early Vedic period, we saw that it was headed by Kulappa, right? The head of the family was majorly a man. Okay, now in the later Vedic period, the head of the family was compulsory a man. Okay, he was compulsory a man. Secondly, woman status got depreciated. Okay, the status of woman declined, and the marriage among the third and the fourth degree relation was prohibited. That is, the Brahmins and the Kshatriyas can marry the Vaishyas and Shudra woman, but the Shudra and Vaishya man cannot marry the Brahmin and the Kshatriya woman. Okay, this was the protocol that had been putted in the Varna system. Now, the caste system was prevalent. In fact, it became more tight. Okay, and the changing restrictions and the educational restrictions came to be known. Okay, if let's suppose any person want to change his caste, okay, if he want to change he want to get change from Brahmin to Kshatriya, so he is allowed. Okay, but if a person want to change from Brahmin to Shudra, then he is prohibited. Okay, or even if I'm not saying that it was impossible, but it was difficult. Now, if a Shudra wants to change his caste towards the Brahmin, okay, now this was completely impossible during this time. People didn't allow this, okay, and in fact he was thrown out of the village if he tried to do this. Okay, so these were some of the conditions. Beyond that, there was also the educational restrictions. The children from the Vaishyas and the Shudras were not allowed for the schooling, or especially now those time ka schoolings were majorly with having the books of the religious books only, okay, which had the Sanskrit Pala language, majorly the Sanskrit language during the Vedic period, right? So this Sanskrit language was not to be read by the Shudras and the Vaishyas, okay. So education was only accessible to the Brahman children and the Kshatriya children. Now this is quite evident again in the Mahabharata. If you see the story of Karna, okay, Karna was considered as a Sutputra, right? Now when Karna was considered as a Sutputra, means he is the child of the Vaishya or Shudra, right? So when he is the Sutputra, he is not allowed to do schooling, okay. He should not have the Gurukul, okay. He should not be allowed to take admission in the Gurukul, and that is why for the lifelong he will stay unskilled, okay. He will have all the less opportunities, and that is why he opt to get his education by telling his guru that yes, he is from Kshatriya Vansh, okay. And in this way Karna took all the education from his guru. Afterwards he was punished for his deeds, but yes, he took it due to such restrictions put by the society, okay. Now the Gotra system was started, Gotra system was started, okay. Gotra system means this is also an extension of the clan system, okay. Now Gotra system means a particular clan, the people from the same clan, same family belongs to the same Gotra, okay. Now the clan is the small entity, Gotra is the larger entity, clan is the child of Gotra, okay. Now the people belonging from the same clan would be also having the same Gotra. And here during the later Vedic period, it was said that two people who are getting married should not be from the same Gotra. So again, there were the restrictions being put in the marital relationships also, okay. Now when we talk about the religious practices, so Indra and Agni became less prominent, and we started to worship the ideal gods, okay. So the Kushans were now see here the gods were divided. So the Kushan was considered as the god of Shudras, okay. After that the Ashwin was the protector of agriculture, okay. Then the Savitri was to fix a place where the new home should be built, and the Surya was worshipped to remove the demons, okay. Savitri Puja, this is being carried out in present day also. Surya Puja, this is being carried out in present day also on Makar Sankranti, okay. Ashwin, this is also being carried out in present day also, especially during the holy, holy, okay. After that the Kushana. Now this I am little doubtful about this Kushana Puja, but yes, all these three are being carried out in the present date also, okay. So Ashwin, who is the protector of the agriculture, now farmer used to pray this Ashwin Dev, okay, that please protect our crops, please protect our harvested food grains, so that we can get more output from this agriculture production, okay. After that the Savitri Puja was done in the homes by the ladies, okay, so that their home and children would be protected from the externalities, okay. And the Surya Puja was done to thank the Surya god or the Surya Dev, okay, to thank his to thank his monitoring that he is doing on the planet Earth, okay. So these were the pujas that were done during the later Vedic period, okay. Now there was at the end of the later Vedic period, there was a strong resistance, especially from the Vaishyas and the Shudras, against the upper classes, that is Kshatriyas and the Brahmanas. Why? Because Vaishyas and the Shudras were not allowed in decision making process. Vaishyas and the Shudras were less available in the public happy wala occasions, okay. And that is why you will see that the lower strata of the society, that is Shudras and the Vaishyas, would be resisting against the extra discrimination that is being done by the upper strata of the society. Okay, so they face the strong opposition on the domination of the priestly class. Brahma emerged as a supreme entity. So the three kind of gods were worshipped now. Okay, in the early Vedic period we saw that the natural forces were worshipped, but in the later Vedic period we started to worship Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. Brahma was considered as the creator, Vishnu was considered as a protector, and the Shiva was considered as the destroyer. Okay, so the Brahma was considered as the supreme entity who was the creator. Okay, after that, due to the present discrimination that was quite evident in the later Vedic period, that is why we'll see that heterodox sects would be getting emerged like Buddhism, Jainism. Okay, so all this would have the emergence after the or during the peak period of Mahajanapadas. Okay, so in next lecture we would be meeting with the Mahajanapadas. Stay alert, stay very confident that you would be attending each and every question in your preliminary examination. Okay, so let's meet in the next session where we would be seeing about the emergence of Buddhism, Jainism through this 16 Mahajanapadas, how the 16 Mahajanapadas gets evolved, and among the 16 Mahajanapadas, how Mauryan administration starts, and how do we come to know about the Buddhism and Jainism. Okay, so let's meet in the next session. Till then, stay alert.